What if, the biggest secret to a really fulfilling life isn't just about finding the thing you're looking for, but actually truly understanding every single step, every lesson on the journey, letting that path itself change who you are?
That's a great way to frame it.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we plunge into, a whole stack of sources, articles, research, our own notes, and we meticulously pull out the most important bits, the real nuggets of knowledge, sometimes surprising insights too. Our mission, really, is to give you a shortcut to being genuinely well-informed, to spark those aha moments you maybe didn't even know you were looking for.
And today we're diving into something truly iconic, a journey into the heart of a global literary phenomenon, Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist.
Yeah, what a book.
It's not just a book, right? It's this international bestseller, a modern fable that's been translated into, 56 languages, read by presidents, movie stars, pretty much everyone.
It's incredible.
And its lasting appeal, I think, comes from that deceptively simple story that actually holds these really profound spiritual and philosophical depths.
It really is amazing how deeply this story connects with so many people. So our mission today is to unpack all of that, the profound spiritual insights, the practical wisdom, and just the powerful storytelling that makes this book feel like that publisher said, getting up at dawn and seeing the sunrise while the rest of the world still slept.
That's a beautiful quote.
Isn't it? We're going to explore its core themes, dig into some surprising facts behind its influence, and really help you understand why this deep dive offers a shortcut to being, intimately familiar with a text that's genuinely shaped countless lives.
Absolutely. It's really a journey into understanding what pushes us forward, what might be holding us back from our deepest desires, and how maybe, just maybe, the universe itself conspires in our favor.
And what makes it even more compelling is that Coelho himself, his own life story, is kind of woven into the message of the book. He's almost living proof of the philosophy he writes about.
Exactly. His own journey mirrors the theme so closely.
So let's unpack this. Maybe start with Paulo Coelho's own story, his own, you could say, personal legend. He's incredibly open about how much he struggled to become a writer.
Oh, definitely. He talks about facing this huge wall of rejection, self-doubt, hearing all these voices, internal and external, telling him his dream was just impossible.
Classic artist struggle, right?
Totally. But his eventual success becomes this powerful mirror for the book's main idea. He tells this story about getting a letter from his American publisher, HarperCollins, the one with that dawn quote we mentioned.
Yeah, the sunrise one.
And it really felt like that to them. And then slowly, almost magically, his dream just took off. Millions of copies sold in the U.S., stories about President Clinton being seen reading it, Julia Roberts saying how much she loved it.
Wow.
Even just a random girl on the street in Miami telling her mom, you have to read this book. It became this genuine phenomenon, a success story that kind of defies easy explanation.
And what's really interesting is Coelho's reaction to it all. He's quite humble, admits he doesn't really know the secret to its huge popularity.
Right.
But then he offers what feels like the most honest answer. Everyone needs to be aware of their personal calling.
Exactly. And for Coelho, that personal calling isn't just some literary idea. He defines it as something much deeper, almost divine. He calls it God's blessing, or the path that God chose for you here on earth.
So it's not about what you should do or what society expects?
No, it's about what genuinely fills us with enthusiasm. It's presented as this fundamental, almost sacred part of being human, a spiritual need to find and live out your unique purpose.
And he doesn't just leave it there, does he? He gives us this really clear framework for why it's so hard for many of us to follow that calling. He outlines these 4 obstacles.
Yeah, and this is where it gets super relevant for anyone listening, thinking about their own dreams. The first one he names is impossibility.
Ah, yes. That idea we pick up from childhood, that our dreams are just not possible.
Think about it, right? How often do you hear, be realistic, get a proper job, your big ideas are just fantasy? Coelho says that over time, all these layers of prejudice, fear, guilt pile up.
Lead on by society, maybe even family.
Exactly. And they get so thick that our personal calling gets buried, almost invisible. But, he says, crucially, it's still there. You just have to dig through that doubt.
That's so relatable. We all have those inner critics. And then he says, even if you manage to unearth that dream, you hit obstacle number 2, love.
This is that powerful, sometimes really gut-wrenching fear of hurting the people you love by chasing your dream, leaving behind the familiar, the stable.
Yeah, the worry about causing them pain or abandoning them.
It's a huge dilemma, loyalty versus destiny. But Coelho offers this really counterintuitive insight. Love is just a further impetus, not something that will prevent us going forward.
Interesting. So true love helps. It doesn't hinder.
That's his point. People who genuinely love you want you to be happy. They're prepared to accompany us, even if it means hardship. It reframes love as enabling growth, not demanding stagnation.
That challenges the whole idea of love as possession, doesn't it? It's about freedom. So, okay, you navigate that, and then you hit obstacle 3, probably the most common one, the fear of defeat.
The fear of failure, especially when you've bet everything on this dream. Coelho points out that people who really fight for their dreams suffer more when things go wrong because they can't just say, oh, I didn't really want it anyway.
Right, you're all in.
You're all in. But then he gives us that incredible metaphor, the mantra. The secret of life is to fall 7 times and to get up 8 times. He argues that actually fighting for the dream, even with the suffering, leads to this greater sense of euphoria and confidence. It proves you're worthy of the miracle of life.
And then he adds that amazing line about the universe.
Yes, that the universe, even when it seems like everything's against you, is conspiring in our favor. Like there's this benevolent cosmic force on your side.
I love that. It totally reframes failure, doesn't it? It's not an end. It's just part of the conspiracy.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 4th obstacle, and this one is maybe the most surprising, the fear of realization.
Yeah, the fear of actually getting what you fought for. It's subtle. Coelho quotes Oscar Wilde, "Each man kills the thing he loves." He explains that guilt can make us self-sabotage right when we're about to succeed.
Guilt, because others haven't made it, or...
Maybe. Or maybe just feeling unworthy. But Coelho stresses that believing you are worthy transforms you into an instrument of God, helping the soul of the world. Achieving your dream isn't just selfish, it's a contribution, finding your piece in the divine puzzle. These 4 hurdles really define the landscape Santiago has to cross.
Okay, so with those obstacles laid out, we can really understand where Santiago starts. Let's meet him. He's a young shepherd boy in Andalusia, Spain, living this simple, almost idyllic life, comfortable with his sheep, even talks to them.
Right, and that initial setting is key. It grounds the story in something very ordinary, which makes his later journey feel more relatable, more possible for anyone. But you also see this quiet longing in him, right? He thinks about past travels, a merchant's daughter. There's a restlessness there.
And the catalyst is that dream.
That recurring dream. A child, his sheep, the Egyptian pyramids, and this promise of hidden treasure, it keeps coming back.
And his backstory is important too, right? His parents wanted him to be a priest.
Yeah, he was even in seminary until he was 16. But he says his desire to know the world was stronger than his desire for knowing God and learning about man's sins in that specific way.
And his father kind of gets it, eventually.
Sort of. He resists at first, tells him travelers always come back the same, but then he gives Santiago the money for his flock. And there's this subtle hint that the father himself secretly wished he could travel, but life got in the way. It's this quiet echo of an unlived personal legend.
Wow, that really sets the stage, that tension between the expected path and the true calling.
Exactly. The father's quiet longing is like an early, unspoken omen of what happens when you ignore that call. It makes Santiago's choice even more significant.
So this dream keeps nagging at him. He decides to get it interpreted, heads to a gypsy woman in Tarifa. He's a bit wary, right? Childhood fears about gypsies.
Understandably. But then he sees this image of the Sacred Heart of Jesus in her place, which calms him down. Maybe a little omen right there.
And her interpretation is pretty simple.
Almost disappointingly simple for him. Just go to the pyramids, find treasure. Seems too easy. But her fee, a tenth of the treasure, later adds this layer of commitment. And she drops that crucial line. It's the simple things in life that are the most extraordinary. Only wise men are able to understand them.
Setting up that theme. Truth and simplicity.
Exactly. Often missed because we look for complexity. And she really pushes him to act on the dream, even without knowing all the steps. Just take the first one.
He's still skeptical, though. Thinks maybe she's just after his money. But then, in the town square.
Melchizedek, the mysterious old man who knows everything about him. Parents' names, seminary, the merchant's daughter, claims he's the king of Salem. This is where things get really deep.
Right. This is where personal legend gets properly defined.
Yes. Melchizedek explains it. It's what you have always wanted to accomplish. He says, everyone knows it when they're young. And that mysterious force holding people back, it's actually preparing them. And then comes the core philosophy.
When you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it.
That's the one, the cornerstone of the whole book, suggesting this benevolent, interconnected universe. And he contrasts Santiago with a local baker who gave up his travel dream for a shop.
Showing how easily what people think can override your own legend.
Precisely. A warning against societal pressure. Melchizedek reveals he's this kind of helper figure, appearing as a solution or a good idea when someone's about to give up on their legend.
Like the story of the miner and the emerald.
Exactly. The miner's about to quit after years. The old man becomes a stone, rolls to his feet, breaks another stone, reveals the emerald. It's like divine intervention for persistence.
And the king demands payment too, but differently than the gypsy.
Crucially different. 1/10 of Santiago's sheep right now. Not future treasure. It teaches him everything in life has its price, and not to promise what you don't have. Focus on present commitment.
And he gives him the stones, Urim and Thummim.
The black and white stones, yeah, to help read omens. But, and this is vital, he stresses, Santiago must make his own decisions. Build intuition, don't just rely on tools.
And he leaves him with that amazing parable, the oil on the spoon.
Oh, yes. The boy exploring the palace told to carry a spoon with oil without spilling. First time he sees nothing, just focuses on the oil. Second time sees the marvels and remembers the oil, the lesson. The secret of happiness is to see all the marvels of the world and never to forget the drops of oil on the spoon.
Balance.
Yeah.
Pursue the big goal, but live the present journey.
Exactly. And Santiago's internal struggle becomes intense now. His sheep comfort, security versus the treasure, the unknown legend. He's looking across at Africa from Tarifa, feels that Levanter wind.
The wind carrying dreams.
And he has this huge realization. There was nothing to hold him back except himself. Everything else, sheep, the girl, home, they're just steps along the way. He makes the choice.
That's a massive turning point, realizing the only obstacle is internal. So he does it. Sells 6 sheep, gets the king's blessing, follow the omens, and heads to Tangier. He's excited, right?
Totally captivated. New sights, sounds, smells. But then reality hits hard.
This is where the beginner's luck runs out.
Dramatically. He's in a place where he doesn't speak the language, doesn't know the customs, and bam, robbed by someone he thought was a guide, loses everything.
Oh, devastated.
It's brutal, a massive test of his commitment. He's weeping, feeling abandoned, thinking he made a terrible mistake, questioning if God is fair. It's rock bottom.
But then he finds the stones again. Urim and Thummim.
Right, in his pouch. A physical reminder of the king's promise. When you want something, all the universe conspires. He tries to use them, but they fall through a hole.
An omen in itself.
Exactly, like the universe saying, learn to read the omens around you, trust yourself, don't ask questions you already know the answer to, don't try to escape your legend.
Wow, so this forces a shift in him.
A huge shift. He stops seeing himself as a poor victim and starts seeing himself as an adventurer in quest of his treasure. That reframing is everything. From victim to hero of his own story, he sees Tangier not as hostile, but as new, full of possibility.
That's such a powerful lesson in resilience.
Yeah.
Okay, so he needs money. Takes a job cleaning for a candy seller.
And watching this candy seller, who seems genuinely happy just doing his work because it's what he wants to do, Santiago has this intuitive flash. He realizes he can sense if someone is close to or far from their personal legend just by looking at them.
An understanding beyond words.
Which leads him to this breakthrough about a language that doesn't depend on words. He felt it with his sheep. Now he sees it in the marketplace, people communicating perfectly without sharing a language.
The language of the world.
He's starting to grasp it, learning to read the omens not just in stones, but in everyday life, in energy, in connection, reinforced by the king's idea that all things are one.
So from there, he gets a job with a crystal merchant.
Yes, a kind man, devout but completely stagnant, been in this declining shop for 30 years, always dreaming of going to Mecca, his personal legend, but never taking the step.
A total contrast to Santiago.
A really powerful counterpoint. The merchant is afraid to achieve his dream because, he says, it's the thought of Mecca that keeps me alive.
That's the fear of realization again.
Exactly. He knows every blessing ignored becomes a curse, but he also says, I don't want to change anything because I don't know how to deal with change. He's stuck in the comfort of the familiar, even though it's unfulfilling. It's tragic, really.
So sad. But Santiago starts applying what he's learned. Initiative.
Yes. He suggests building a display case, selling tea in the crystal glasses, simple ideas, but infused with Santiago's energy, they revitalize the business.
Showing how pursuing his legend helps others.
Beautifully put. And the merchant introduces him to Maktub. It is written. Seems fatalistic, but Santiago learns it's more about aligning your actions with destiny, a dance between fate and free will.
Not rigid destiny.
No. And Santiago reflects that his sheep couldn't teach him Arabic or about business. He realizes, maybe it wasn't that they were teaching me, but that I was learning from them. A shift to active, experiential learning.
And after nearly a year, he has enough money to buy double the sheep he started with. He could go home.
He could, but he feels that dream of being a shepherd is becoming less important. The journey has changed him, and the crystal merchant with this quiet wisdom just tells him, you're not going to buy your sheep.
He sees the transformation.
He does. It's a core message. The journey itself transforms you. Your original goal might just be the starting point for discovering what you truly want.
So Santiago decides to keep going. Joins a caravan across the Sahara.
And on this caravan, he meets the Englishman. Fascinating character.
The academic seeker.
Right. Obsessed with finding the universal language through books, Esperanto, religions, now alchemy. He's loaded down with texts, searching for this legendary alchemist he believes holds all the secrets.
A complete contrast to Santiago's learn-by-doing approach.
Exactly. Experience versus intellect. Learning from the world versus learning about it. But they connect instantly over the Urim and Thummim stones. They both recognize them.
Showing different paths can lead to the same truth.
I think so. It confirms they're on a shared quest, even with different methods.
Meanwhile, the caravan leader is all about rules, obedience, the desert's dangers.
Very pragmatic.
Yeah.
But Santiago looks at the vast, silent desert and thinks, I can learn something from the desert too. It seems old and wise. He's open to lessons everywhere.
And he learns from the camel driver, too.
Yes, the camel driver shares this incredible story about losing everything in a flood. It taught him, people need not fear the unknown if they are capable of achieving what they need and want, trusting your ability to cope. And he adds that insight. Our life stories and the history of the world were written by the same hand. That idea of maktub again, but expanded seeing your story as part of a bigger divine tapestry.
And the Englishman shares his book, Learning About the Soul of the World.
Yeah. When you want something with all your heart, that's when you are closest to the soul of the world. It's always a positive force. He explains how everything, even rocks and glasses, has a soul and collaborates in your success. It's profound, but for him, it's still theory.
But they start learning from each other.
Which is crucial. Santiago reads the books. The Englishman starts watching the caravan, observing the desert. They bridge the gap between their approaches.
So Santiago learns about the Emerald Tablet, the Elixir of Life, the Philosopher's Stone.
All the alchemical lore. How purifying metals mirrors purifying the self. But Santiago pushes back a bit, intuitively feeling that alchemy could be learned in one's daily life. Practical wisdom over theory again.
Setting the stage perfectly for meeting the real alchemist. Okay, so the caravan finally reaches the Al-Fayum oasis.
Yes, this bustling, vibrant safe haven in the middle of the desert wars. It's huge, way bigger than Santiago expected. A symbol of life, but also where the tests get deeper.
The beginner's luck is definitely over now.
Officially, he feels he's constantly subjected to tests of his persistence and courage, and he's seeing omens more clearly as a language used by God. The stakes feel higher.
And finding the actual alchemist isn't straightforward either.
No, the villagers are wary, talk of witch doctors, powerful men you don't just walk up to. Another subtle test of perseverance, perhaps. Wisdom isn't easily found.
And then, the well. Fadna.
Yes, the pivotal moment. He sees her, and it's like time stops. The soul of the world surged within him. He recognizes this instantly as the pure language of the world, love.
And the book presents this love not as a distraction.
No, quite the opposite. As an affirmation of his personal legend. When you know that language, it's easy to understand that someone in the world awaits you. It's maktub, destiny, finding your counterpart. Without such love, one's dreams would have no meaning. Love is elevated to this divine connection.
Santiago's ready to stay, right?
Yeah.
He declares his love, thinks maybe she is the treasure.
For a moment, yes. But Fatme, being a woman of the desert, has this incredibly profound understanding of love and freedom. She tells him he must continue his quest.
It's amazing.
She says, if you have to go, go on in pursuit of your dream. The dunes are changed by the wind, but the desert never changes. That's the way it will be with our love. Maktub.
Wow. Such strength and trust.
It's radical trust in Maktub, in the soul of the world. A love that empowers, that doesn't cling. She even says if he dies, he becomes part of everything, the soul of the world, so they're still connected. It's this incredible spiritual maturity that challenges Santiago deeply.
That really reframes love within the quest. So, shortly after this, Santiago's intuition gets even stronger. He has a vision.
A powerful vision of an attacking army. A clear omen. He knows he has to warn the tribal chieftains at the oasis, even though it's dangerous and against their traditions.
And the camel driver offers some wisdom about seeing the future.
Yeah, he says, if you pay attention to the present, you can improve upon it. And crucially, when God does show the future, it's a future that was written so as to be altered.
So destiny isn't fixed. Human action matters.
Exactly. It's co-creation, not just fate. And then, because Santiago acted on his vision, the alchemist appears.
The mysterious horseman with falcon.
Right out of the desert. And he immediately tests Santiago's courage, observing him hunt. He states flat out, courage is the quality most essential to understanding the language of the world. No comfort, just challenge.
And he addresses Santiago's conflict about Fatima head on.
Directly. He warns him about abandoning his legend for love or comfort. Says, love never keeps a man from pursuing his personal legend. If he abandons that pursuit, it's because it wasn't true love. The love that speaks the language of the world.
Oof, tough love.
Very tough. He paints this bleak picture of Santiago's future if he stays, regret, bitterness, the love itself turning sour. It forces Santiago to choose the legend over comfort, a huge act of faith.
And Santiago's heart is terrified of the suffering involved in leaving.
Understandably. It's a universal fear. And the alchemist gives perhaps the most profound teaching in the book right here. Tell your heart that the fear of suffering is worse than the suffering itself.
Wow.
And that no heart has ever suffered when it goes in search of its dreams, because every second of the search is a second's encounter with God and with eternity.
That's incredibly powerful. Embrace the journey, even the pain, because the suffering of not living your dream is worse.
Exactly. Live intensely. And Santiago's heart starts to understand. It reveals that all people who are happy have God within them, and everyone on earth has a treasure that awaits him.
But hearts stop talking to adults who ignore them.
They speak more and more softly because adults fear the suffering involved in following dreams. Santiago asks his heart to never stop speaking, promising to listen. And in that moment of commitment, his heart returns to the soul of the world, complete inner harmony.
Beautiful. But just as he finds that peace,
the alchemist reminds him, the final test is coming. Before a dream is realized, the soul of the world tests everything that was learned. Every search begins with beginner's luck, and every search ends with the victors being severely tested.
So the biggest challenge is often right at the end.
Designed to consolidate everything, prove you're truly ready.
And that test arrives spectacularly. They get captured by warring tribesmen.
Their lives are on the line. And the alchemist makes this outrageous claim. Santiago can turn himself into the wind in 3 days.
Talk about pressure.
Yeah.
Impossible.
Seems impossible. And the alchemist's response to Santiago's fear is the ultimate lesson. There is only one thing that makes a dream impossible to achieve: the fear of failure. He tells Santiago he already knows how if he's truly living his legend.
Puts it all on Santiago.
Completely. And then, faced with death, Santiago does something incredible. He starts talking to the elements: the desert, the wind, the sun.
Speaking the language of the world.
Directly. First, to the desert. He talks about his love for Fatima, how the desert holds her, asks for its help. He defines love as the transforming force, what turns lead into gold, using alchemy's language for love's power.
Then he speaks to the wind.
Yeah, reminds it how it carried Fatima's voice, claims he has the wind within him, that they share the same soul, made by the same hand, argues that being love makes anything possible, even becoming the wind. It's this appeal to their shared divinity.
And then, audaciously, he challenges the sun.
Argues the sun doesn't really know love because it just watches from afar. Says love actively transforms and improves the soul of the world. He claims alchemy exists so we strive to become better, making everything around us better, too. It's this idea that personal growth lifts the whole universe.
Wow. And finally,
guided by the sun, he turns inward, speaks silently to the hand that wrote all. He connects to the soul of the world, sees it as part of the soul of God, sees his own soul as part of God's. And in that ultimate connection, that surrender, he realizes he, a boy, could perform miracles.
It's the ultimate demonstration of belief and interconnectedness.
Manifesting reality through understanding and faith. And then the Simum hits the massive sandstorm.
And when it clears,
Santiago's gone, then reappears across the camp. He did it. The Arabs are terrified. The alchemist just smiles. His perfect disciple.
absolutely incredible. So after that, they finally get near the pyramids.
2 days later, and the alchemist performs the physical act, turns lead into gold at a Coptic monastery. A real, tangible demonstration.
But he makes it clear.
This was my personal legend, not yours. But I wanted to show you that it was possible. It's proof, but also distinction. He gives Santiago some gold and recalls that proverb. Everything that happens once can never happen again, but everything that happens twice will surely happen a third time.
A reminder of past losses and maybe protection against future ones.
Exactly. A hint that the pattern of being tested might repeat, but he's equipped now.
And the alchemist tells one last story about the Roman centurion.
Yes, whose simple words of faith, "Lord, I am not worthy, but only speak a word," were remembered for centuries, unlike his poet brother's fancy verses. The point being, no matter what he does, every person on Earth plays a central role in the history of the world, and normally he doesn't know it. The hidden significance of sincere action.
Profound. So Santiago finally stands before the pyramids.
The physical goal, he weeps with joy, gratitude, thanks God for the journey, the people. Then, guided by his heart and an omen, a scarab beetle, symbol of God in Egypt, he starts digging where his tears fell.
Digs all night. Finds nothing.
And gets robbed and beaten again by refugees from the war. It seems like the ultimate cruel joke.
Right then, the twist.
The mind-blowing twist. The leader of the robbers, seeing Santiago digging for treasure based on a dream, mocks him and reveals his own recurring dream. Treasure buried back in Spain at an abandoned church under a sycamore tree.
The exact place Santiago started.
Unbelievable, right. The treasure was literally back home all along. But he had to make the journey. He had to cross the world, face the tests, learn the language of the world, transform himself to understand.
The pyramids weren't the location of the gold. They were the crucible for his transformation.
Perfectly put. That's the genius. Life really is generous to those who pursue their personal legend. The becoming was the treasure.
So he returns to the church in Spain, digs under the sycamore.
And finds it. The chest. Spanish gold coins, jewels, masks, statues. The literal treasure.
And the alchemist's voice comes on the wind.
That final confirmation. If I had told you, you wouldn't have seen the pyramids. They're beautiful, aren't they?
It seals the message. The journey, the experiences, the growth that was the real gold. Santiago puts Urim and Thummim in the chest, acknowledging their part.
And his final thought. Life really is generous. The wind brings Fatima's scent, a kiss. I'm coming, Fatima.
The convergence, personal quest, self-discovery, love, the complete treasure.
Wow. So what does this whole deep dive mean for you listening? The Alchemist isn't just a nice story. It feels like a guide.
Absolutely. A guide to living with purpose. Remember those core lessons. First, recognizing your personal legend. Understanding your deepest desires, your enthusiasm as your true mission. It's part of who you are.
Second, embracing the journey. Obstacles aren't roadblocks. They're the path. The robbery, the desert they teach, they refine. Defeat builds resilience.
Third, listening to your heart and the omens. The world is speaking to you in that language without words. Your heart knows the way if you tune in. It's connected to that soul of the world. Fourth, the power of action. Dreams need action, courage. Taking the first step, then the next. Fear of failure is the real enemy.
And fifth, that transformative power of true love, like Fatima showed. Real love empowers your legend. It doesn't hold you back. It becomes part of the dream itself.
And that amazing idea that the treasure might be right where you started, but you have to leave and return transformed to truly find it. The pyramids were beautiful, necessary, but not the final destination.
The real alchemy was internal. The person you become is the gold.
So maybe a final thought for you to mull over. In your own life, what personal legend might be waiting? Maybe hidden in plain sight. What small step could you take today to listen to your heart, notice the omens, and maybe start your own extraordinary journey?
Knowing that, as the king promised Santiago, when you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.